Start it.
Cold start. Hey, are we on? Just hello,
Uh,
this ain't working. Am I on mute? No. Okay.
no, you're not on mute. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Gen X Collectible. How are you?
I'm a little tired, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. And yourself?
Okay. Yeah, I'm just maybe just a touch tired too for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some rain and a little bit of thunderstorms come through last night, and the chief of security didn't like that.
Oh, yeah.
So and he was up a little, he was unsettled,
Yeah.
and yeah, we're unfortunately we're supposed to get some bad weather coming through tonight, or I think this afternoon. So
Yeah. It's supposed to be gorgeous here for the next 3, 4 days. 70s,
nice.
low 80s. You gonna say hello to the good folks here?
Yeah, let me. Oh, I just lost all my screens.
All right.
where,
And I'll
where is
start out.
everything? Oh, there
You
we
got
go.
it back?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm still here. I'm just my.
All right.
See,
Well,
I haven't
we'll
had enough
say
coffee.
hello, Big E,
Big
and
E,
Dennis D,
Dennis D. Good morning. Thanks for
yes,
joining us.
and Stacking Perpetrator.
Hey, my man, what's up,
Yep, and Mr.
Mister?
MJ Boudreau.
How are
Welcome.
you doing, sir? Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Woo!
Yep.
I switched using this for a coffee because it's well insulated, so it keeps it nice and warm or hot stuff.
I've got a Yeti.
Morning. Yeah. Well, my mom gave me this, so
Well, yeah, and if it works, so
Mm, mm. Yeah, it works. Oh, ooh, that was fun.
hey, look who just
Is that
jumped
brown
in.
sugar?
Yes,
And
brown sugar.
is it John
Hello.
Howell? Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Howell.
How are you?
Every time I
Oh,
see that name, I think of Gordie Howe. The famous hockey player that played for Detroit and played for 6 decades in the NHL.
hey, we got. Oh, hey, by the way, for those who, for all your home air conditioning and heating needs, we have Mr. HVAC Resident Basics here. So, good morning to you, my brother. Glad you could join us. And of course, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who puts Gomer Pyle to shame. We call him Gunny.
Hey, Gunny.
And we got a bad gateway. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, welcome.
Between bites of oatmeal. Okay, yeah. Oatmeal's good for you.
Thurston Howell the Third. Was that what you're thinking of, Mr. Boudreau?
Yes. Oh, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that too, actually.
Only Gen Xers will get that
Yeah.
for the
Right,
most
Gunny?
part. And
Oh,
now the ultimate question, obviously, is it Ginger or Mary Ann? I have my answer.
uh, yeah, I have mine too. You want to
I
go first?
vote. I vote Mary Ann.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because she seemed like
And I think is Ginger. I think Ginger is the only one still alive. I think.
uh,
I could be wrong there, but
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Probably, honestly. Yeah, because I think even the actor who played Gilligan, I think he regretfully passed.
oh, he passed quite a while ago.
Oh, did he? Okay, okay.
Shortly after the skipper did.
Oh, okay.
Bob Denver, not Bob, is John Denver. No, yeah, Bob Denver. John Denver was the singer who passed
Oh,
on.
see, well, looks like we got a couple of votes for Marianne. Yep, one, two, yep. So yeah, definitely.
Yep, he was the voice of Mr. Magoo. That is correct. I can't think of the actor's name, but he was very well established.
Oh, the actor that played
Yep.
Thurston. Yeah,
Oh, the
yeah.
professor. The professor may be still alive too. I don't remember.
Okay, we got a
So,
question right out the door here from Mr. Dennis. Yeah, let's That's a good question, I think. If you pay the man $160 for a medal, should they have a quality control to check that the capsule completely closed? I suggest anyone who purchased one check that there is no wide gap on the metal. Ooh, wide gap. That...
I did see a video, and I can never pronounce the channel's name. Unfortunately, he lives over in, I think, New Zealand.
Yeah, I think, yeah. It's
and
like
his coin looked like it went through a dryer or something. It was all chipped
really?
and beat up. Yeah, it was.
Ooh.
It was pretty ugly.
Yeah, he
and
posted.
There was some finning on it, so.
Yeah, I remember seeing like he posted a comment like on Sal's page or somewhere, and I know he asked the question like, is this the end of the series? And I was like, I replied to him, no, we still got the Army and then the Space Force.
They come out next year.
Yeah. So I'm looking for. I like the series so far. I mean, it's just I think each coin just seems to be getting better, or metal is getting better, better, and better.
Gunny would disagree.
What? Oh, yeah. Semper Crayola. Hoorah.
Well, he thinks that. I mean, that's the branch he served in and retired from. And, I mean, obviously he has strong opinions, and I tend to agree. I think that they could have used something to tie in the history, the rich history of the Marine Corps, and chose to go with, like he said, the Call of Duty look. So, I mean, it's still cool and it's very detailed. And I don't know the weapons intimately, like Gunny does or like you do, but I mean the detail on it looks like it's pretty well done, and I'm looking forward to getting the One Coin series. And I saw someone had posted something that some dealer is offering a pentagon shape holder for the 1 ounce metals. And I gotta find that again, because that's exactly what I would like to do, is display them in that.
Yeah.
And then hang it.
I was going to say
something. And then in
that'd be cool.
3 more years, you can see the whole collection.
Yeah. I think somebody, a content provider, I can't remember who. I should have wrote it down. They, the reason I was really interested, they 3D printed like you said, a pentagon shape with the holes to put the coin in. And I was like, well, I got a 3D printer back there that I need to start playing with some more.
Sounds like a business opportunity to me, sir. Just a thought.
I've been looking into it. I don't know if folks out there are familiar with a 3D modeling software called SolidWorks. When I worked at Northrop Grumman, that's the CAD program we used to draw up, models of, parts and pieces. And it's probably what I'm most familiar with, relatively speaking. Even though I'm an electrical engineer, I still had to go in there and draw stuff. So SolidWorks has a kind of like an at-home, 3D modeling software you can use, but you have to have internet access. So it's like one of those, a cloud or web-based 3D modeling. So, I mean, you save the file on your computer, but the program itself, you draw over the web, and it's relatively inexpensive, and they give you permission to use the software for 3D modeling at home if you decide you want to sell that stuff and everything.
Well, I have a more important question. Do you have the 3D printer set up?
Yes.
Okay, then a follow-up is does it only do plastic resins, or can you do metal, like where you can where Gunny had mentioned coins, like
mine's only set up for plastic, specifically the PLA type stuff.
Well, you could still do coins, plastic coins, like poker chip type things.
Yeah, it's exactly what. Yeah, I actually already have 3D models to make challenge coins. It'll be in essence, it'll be like a poker chip. But I already got the models set. And all I gotta do is just go in there and make a design logo, but like the circumference and thickness and all
I
that
would think
jazz.
poker chip size would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Jay Tizzo.
Jay Tizzle, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, we're.
But yeah, no, I just start playing it with it more, and like you said, dude, they could turn it into a nice business. Like these, like I don't have it in front of me. Um, I was buying some of these. I bought a couple of sets of these brackets for the 1 ounce Beska bars, and the guy on that was selling them on eBay, he's not there anymore. He closed his account or something. I can't find him, so I was going to use that as inspiration to design my own, and maybe put the DoN engineering cog on here or something like that, or make it look different. Maybe give it like a Star Wars feel to the brackets and stuff. So that's what.
Now you're going overboard.
What's that?
Star Wars. Now you're going overboard.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd talk about Star Wars, bring that up while Gunny's here, and Civil Wolverine isn't.
Well, the only thing that I would suggest is you have to be very, very careful for copyright infringement.
Oh yeah.
That you're going to sell. So
no. I'm just talking smack now. We'll see. That's funny you brought that up. That Donald in Mexico. Hey, good morning.
Hey,
Thanks
Donald.
for joining us, brother. Hope you're doing well.
Yes.
They're starting to get,
They're getting monsoons out there. They're getting lots of rain. Finally.
Yeah.
And all that. The fact Las Vegas got flooded. And it always floods when they get a lot of rain. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've been out there when that's happened.
I know that stuff's coming this way. So I'm supposed, like I said earlier, I was supposed to get hit here like early mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
But I hope you're doing well, Donald.
They need it desperately out there. Lake Mead is dangerous.
We need the rain here.
Low.
Yeah, we need it here just to kind of cool off. And we're in a dry spell.
Yeah, we are a little bit. I think we got like an inch of rain over the last week, but it basically all fell in the span of 24 hours, which isn't too bad. But we haven't had hardly. I mean, we're way below average here too.
Yeah. Hey, Hoosier Stacker, how are you? Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Hope everyone had a chance to join him with his Saturday evening bingo. That's a real lot of fun. And I'm sorry I didn't make it last night. I was busy making that tribute video because I was like, okay, I need, I said I was going to make one. So I finally sat down and made it. So yeah. Sorry. So yeah, he's a good time is the Hoosier bingos, and you get to play with his balls.
Yeah, he does.
It's a good time. It's a good time. He does. It's fun. It's like, again, one of my mantras. To foster friendship and fellowship in the stacking and coin the community on YouTube. And
I've been into
that. I wanted I want to see our community do more of that. More than just get on here, talk about the news and the weather and current events and all that jazz. It's like, okay, yeah, we can all find the news and all that stuff on our own. Let's just get together and talk, and have some fun and share some knowledge, share information, and I think it's lacking in our community.
Yeah, HVAC is. How's my volume now? Is it a little bit better?
Did I miss somebody?
While we're talking here, take a look and see.
Anyway. Oh, Dennis, thank you. I actually had a lot of fun. Okay, yeah, I'm getting a little brain fart. Thank you. That was a lot of fun making. Actually, got to use really take advantage of the new computer and that video photo editing software suite that was offered with the machine, and it was like say like $65 or so, and it was like discounted because I was buying a new machine, so I didn't have to pay full price. And it's a complete standalone suite, so I don't have to be on the internet to for it to work. It's not too bad. There is a level of complex. It's not super user friendly interface, so you got to play around with it. That's why it took me so long, because I was like, ooh, what does this do? What is But the key to it is you can do multiple layers of like on a video, you could do multiple layers of different pictures. You could put in multiple like sound or music.
Yeah, it's a regular video, audio, or video editing software program, which is what you should be able to do.
Yeah.
So,
And
I think
it was worth doing.
Use my radio voice for HVAC because apparently I speak real soft, and I can change that by doing this.
Yeah. Well, once I get that high gain microphone set up and everything, I'll be off to the races. But right now I'm kind of lazy using it because it's all one, here, together. So it's just easy for me to put this on and go.
Then you get to learn and play all the fun stuff that I've been struggling with, but I think I've got stuff dialed in now. So
yeah,
I think.
To go back to the 5K video for Coin Crew, I had to go through 3 iterations of that video because that software suite, it said, hey, here's some free music files you can use. And it ain't so free. So I embedded the first one and I went to YouTube to upload it, and it said copyright. I was like, so deleted the post and then went back and found another free music file, and then YouTube said copyright.
You know that YouTube has a complete listing of different royalty-free, copyright-free music that you can utilize, right?
Yeah. I knew it was there, but it was getting late, and I was just like, I was getting flustered. So that Pixabay site, I've used it before, so I knew I knew how to set it up and everything. So I just went there and found one I liked, and then they you can use their content freely. They just ask that you post that the credit thing that you see, if you see in my description.
Right.
So when you download whatever file, you just hit you select give credit to the artist, and you click on that, and it gives you that text file, and all you got to do is cut and paste it to your description. And and so that went through, no copyright issues or anything like that. So that's what I like about using their site, because that gives you that, kind of looks, all that language kind of looks, official. So, I figured that, that covers my butt most, maybe, I don't know one day, but I wanted to make sure that I had it in there, because if this channel ever goes, monetized or whatever, I want to make sure I got all my, ducks in a row kind of thing. So I want to make sure I don't step on those toes.
No, as soon as you get a copyright strike or you start doing that, then they hold you back from being monetized until you get stuff cleaned up. And so many strikes, they just take your channel down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I wanted to just avoid that mess altogether.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're the one with the soft voice? Is that right?
Apparently. But I adjusted my gain a little bit, so hopefully I'm coming through a little bit louder. It sounds louder in my headphones, but
yeah, you sound fine on my end. Spilt Paint, hey, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, welcome.
Hey, everybody in the chat, thanks for being here this morning.
Yeah, they're kind of slow. They're not chatting it up. They're not throwing questions or just listening to us babble.
Well, okay. Well, I have one to stir the thought process, and I definitely want to get your opinion, because I think with your background and the work that in your career, I think you have a better understanding, and okay, just could come out with it. What's the difference between when folks, especially in our community, when they make news and read those news articles, the words depression, hyperinflation, the Great Depression, did I say recession? They use these words all the time. And sometimes I think they're not used correctly, but I understand the definition of those words better, how they describe the economy and the value of the dollar and things like that. So what's your opinion? And of course, this is your opinion. This is my opinion, not to be taken any other outside of that content or context.
I think that they've turned into buzzwords for clickbait and for news media outlets to get people riled up. And of course, the government is in the process of redefining what a recession is. Typically, a recession is 2 straight quarters of economic negative growth. And although it was a small negative number, I think it was 0.4% or something like that. There was not a positive growth the last quarter. Contrary to that, unemployment is basically at an all-time low. Everybody here, I mean, from fast food places up to manufacturing jobs, which pay fairly well, they're all screaming for help, especially the trades.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Manufacturing orders as a whole in the industry increased. So people are still buying products. The demand is there. The problem is they don't have the staffing to meet their manufacturing requirements for orders that they have. Again, we're talking about my opinion. Those were numbers that I tracked really close when I was in the field, because that was my job, was purchasing and supply chain and raw materials and manufacturing and all that. And that was always an indicator, and you could tell normally some of those numbers, when they hit, the economy doesn't see an impact for 3 to 6 months out.
Right.
On that. So there may be an increase or an uptick in those numbers, but you're not going to see any results until things can flow through the manufacturing process, from the supply chain all the way through getting the product on the shelf, or in the factory if it's a sub-assembly or whatever the part may be. I think the Great Depression, with any type of comparison to that, is completely bogus. The Great Depression, we had unemployment rate at, what was it, over 30%, 35%. So 1 out of 3 Americans were unemployed. We're nowhere near that. Our biggest problem, in my opinion, right now is obviously the government printing money like it's, turning on a faucet and just letting it run, which obviously devalues the purchasing power of that dollar, which causes inflation. The Fed's trying to counteract that, obviously, with raising interest rates to try to get people to slow down on spending. And then on the flip side, when they do that, it actually strengthens the dollar in the world, because there's countries that, they're trading their currency for U.S. dollars. And the dollar's been extremely strong, which has depressed the metals markets to a certain degree. And the stock market and the metals market they both finished up for the week last week. So it's just in my opinion, it's just a weird time. I can't really explain it. If inflation wasn't so crazy, I think that this economy and market would be booming. But it does affect people. I mean, it's a big difference. When you got to go and it costs you $120 to fill up your gas tank, when it used to cost you $45 or $50. That's a big hit. Or go to the grocery store and you had $100 budgeted, and now you got to spend $175 to get the same amount of food. That has a big impact, because inflation's at 9%, and people aren't getting 9% raises for the most part.
Yeah.
So that's my overall long answer to your kind of short question.
No, it's involved, because I was asking about, like you mentioned. Well, first let me back up real quick. Hey, I lost my place. We have Mr. Andy, Mr. Resnick has joined us. Thank you, sir. Good morning. I'm going to avoid announcing Silver Wolverine.
Yes, welcome to Wolverine, Mr. Resnick.
And Rhonda has joined us. Sweet lady, good morning. Hope you are well.
Two of the best moderators in the business right here.
There
Rhonda
we
Tolliver and Andy Resnick.
And Bandit Jones, my man. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I posed a question, and I love the answer you gave. Like you, I agree. I think they use those terms way out of content, and they just, like you said, shock and all value. Hey, click on my YouTube page, click on my article, Yep. And to compare, first off, like you said, the Great Depression, it's apples and oranges. It was a different time, different things. There wasn't really any social programs set up. The type of jobs, the job market, the industries that were there, they're just, you can't compare it to today.
Well, and that's what created the social programs. Some good, some not so good, was the Great Depression, right? That's when Social Security and all that stuff was established. And I don't want to get into politics. Some of the stuff that was created, I think, was good. Some of it was horrendous and continues to be horrendous.
Yeah.
So Bandit Jones jumped in here. I did type, but hello. Recognize people as they come in. And if we miss you, if you're popping in here, we apologize. It's not done on purpose. We're both looking at multiple screens and trying to have a conversation.
yeah. That's why you see my head turning a lot. I'm like, I got the YouTube chat.
Sometimes it's difficult for me.
Yeah. Well, I haven't. This is what I've only used OBS for a week.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
So I'm still learning it. I got OBS here on the big screen. Next to it, I got the YouTube chat, and then on the bottom corner, I got the controls for the camera, and then over here on this screen, I have the StreamYard. So it's a bit much. But I tell you what, I really like really digging this OBS.
Yeah,
it's nice. I think this is how I'm going to be able to do picture-in-picture kind of thing. Have me and picture you or me for us in the corner, and then you could add a source for if you're going to use your web page or some kind of PowerPoint presentation.
It's extremely powerful tool, and of course with me getting a new computer as well, I'm resetting everything. So I'm different scenes for live stream for StreamYard, or playing with settings so that if I want to go live by myself, I can go live and use OBS and then use all the features that way as well. So that'll be something.
That's great.
That's your next test, is just go live without StreamYard via OBS, because everything is different.
Oh, really?
Well, there are some things that are different. Your mic and it's just a little different. So let's see.
Oh, Spill Paint says here. Let me see if I highlight it real quick.
Yeah.
That said his father spoke of times were so hard in the Great Depression that they only ate meat once a week, and it was normally chicken. They had raised. I saw something channel out somewhere. This was the channel was about the lady did meals, showed you recipe. I think it was Great Depression recipes, and she to show you what folks did back then to feed themselves with what little they could buy.
Well, I think what's the current, and John Howe made a statement here about comparison to basic living expenses. I think one thing that's a little bit different is back in the 20s and 30s, or essentially the 30s during the Depression, yes, the industrial age had hit and there was some manufacturing going on, but a lot of people still had homesteads, and farming was huge. So they were growing and they were canning you know, fruits and vegetables and so forth. And they also had livestock. And there was a lot of bartering and trading going on. And right now, you know, the average person, you know, everything is bought at the grocery store. Now, I tend to buy in bulk, and I do have some storage for, you know, like rice and noodles and some canned goods.
Yeah.
I buy my beef. I buy a half a cow, which saves tremendous amount of
Hmm.
money. Um, so, I mean, there is some of that, but I think it's making people realize, you know, how dependent you are that you got to go to the grocery store. And some people don't even know how to make a loaf of bread. You know, they don't know how to get the ingredients with flour and all. Very simple. And I think a lot of that is coming back. But I
Hmm.
still don't think you can compare it to the Great Depression because people are not, we don't know long term effects yet. Again, over 30% unemployment, and that's not the case now. I mean, you can work. Unfortunately, you need more dollars today than you did a year ago to buy the
Hmm.
same goods and services. So,
And also, kind of piggyback about jobs. I think that's also location specific. For example, here, the greater Huntsville, Alabama area, there's not enough people to fill all the jobs,
yeah,
and it covers the entire spectrum.
yeah,
You know, trades, the service industry, retail. And one of the biggest ones that's impacted right now is construction.
yeah,
I mean, right over here, they're developing a new, a new suburb, residential or whatever.
yeah.
They
Subdivision.
built they poured a foundation and they built a bunch of homes, but they're skeletons. They put they put they put the framing up, they got the roof on, they got the roof tiles, they put the windows in, but that's it. They're inside, no drywall, no insulation, no electrical work, no plumbing, no air conditioning, none of that stuff. And from what I can tell, it's because they have a small pool of folks that can work in construction. For whether it be carpenters, plumbers, electricians, um,
Yep.
the folks that can pour the concrete for the foundation, the the bricklayers. I don't know if that's called masons, but yeah, they need all these people. It just seems like there's a like a work crew, and they go to like this developer, work on his community to get the houses at least built. The basics, the foundation, the basic structure, and then they go to the next community and do the same. And then I guess they just waiting to get the plumbers and electricians in to go back to that other community to finish those homes and then go to the next community. It's just, yeah, they're clearly have a labor shortage where I live, and it's just, yeah, it's wild. I mean,
Yeah.
these homes have been, the construction, the basic structure, it's been done for, I want to say at least 2 months.
Yeah. Skilled trades back
Mm-hmm.
to trade schools. The
Oh
trade
yeah.
schools, you know, if you're not going to, in my opinion, if you're not going to go into the military per se, let's say that you don't want to go that route, and you really don't like school, um, go be an electrician, go be anything, you name it. The plumbers, they'll pay you
Mm-hmm.
to train
Mm-hmm.
you to get your
Yes.
cards.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
in 4 years, you'll have your card. You can
Mm-hmm.
start your own business.
Yep.
Plus, you were
Excuse me.
making $80,000 a year probably while you're being trained.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get your card, you make six figures. They make
Yeah.
100. I mean,
Master,
they make
like,
very, very good
yeah.
money.
Master electricians, yeah, they easily make six figures. And and if you become an apprentice with like a company to become, yeah, I use electrician because that's kind of the one I know the most of. And yeah, you work for them. They'll put you through school. Like, you'll get your journeyman license. You'll be, you'll have a mentor. You follow him along to get your time in and your experience. And then you go take whatever the licensing test is. You get bonded. The company will get you insured and bonded,
Yeah,
and then
they
you
set
get
you
you
up.
got they set you up. And almost all, as far as I know, they all will pay for your schooling.
Correct. Well, they're paying you
You
while
know,
you
well,
work, right?
yeah, you pay while you work, and they probably have something in your your contract where you have to, after you graduate and get your license and
you got to
everything.
work for them for so long. Which
work for them for X number of years, which is I think very reasonable. And then
Yeah.
you walk away debt free from school with your license to either go.
Loans, you don't have $100,000 or plus hanging over your head that you got to pay back.
Yeah.
Bandit Jones made a comment here: during the Depression, people wait in trains to leave home to find work. That is true. I think the big difference now is you can work from home. You can work for any company. Well, I'm not saying any company, but you can live in Michigan and work for a company in, say, Seattle, and be a computer programmer or any type of field. There's so much remote jobs right now. I mean, take you for example, DoN, right? You've got a position that you can work remotely. You could if you wanted to move to Alaska because you like the cold,
No.
you could still work. You could still do your job, right?
Well, yeah.
Now,
I just need
it
a
causes an
quick
inconvenience when you have to have a meeting or you've got your quarterly, so you got to hop on a plane or something like that. Point being is it's a little bit different. I think and I hope that we start bringing more manufacturing jobs back, and I think that that's going to be forced with some of the geopolitical situations that's going on. And they're going to be, if they want to continue to manufacture products, they're going to have to probably bring that stuff home. We've got way too much stuff being built overseas. Now, unfortunately, the flip side of that is cost of labor, which means the parts, the goods that you're going to buy are going to cost more because they're made here in the USA. In some cases, not in all cases. Especially with, I haven't looked or checked and see what the transportation costs are. But there was definitely a serious disconnect when it was cheaper to pay for all the tooling, all the training, and all the travel to get your factory set up overseas and then load all that stuff on containers to come over by ship and then to truck all that or to train it to your manufacturing facility. It was cheaper to pay all those costs than to build it at home. And we saw that with the beginning of the pandemic, right, with the ventilators. All that stuff was being, components and all that stuff was being done overseas. And of course, we had a problem. And a lot of the local manufacturers did some quick tool changes, similar to what they did with World War II, and they just started cranking out ventilators. So we have the capability. Unfortunately, with a lot of the stuff that did get moved offshore, I'm not going to say specifically just Asia, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff made in Mexico or some places are made in Europe, but if you move it out of the country, a lot of those old factories, they've been torn down or they've been converted over into high-end condos or shops and different things, at least in Michigan, in the area that I'm at, which was obviously extremely heavy in the automotive industry. And when they started moving all that stuff around, they just, tore down, millions of square feet of manufacturing facility. Now, the upside to that is if they do start doing that, they don't have to retrofit anything. They can build a factory, a modern factory, which is normally cheaper than trying to retrofit a building that's been sitting around for, 100 years. Look at the Ford facility in Detroit, Willow Run, where it's, a mile long or something like that. And when they go to retrofit and change stuff there, it's probably, in fact, they're building new facilities because it's cheaper to build new facilities than try to retrofit and upgrade those huge old factories.
Yeah, because you can build the factory, for example, from scratch the way you need it. And so the logistics for that is just easier than trying to make something that's already out there conform to what you need.
Right. And the regulations and stuff. I mean, some of it is regulations, and I mean, there are certain things. It was crazy. There was certain processes. Worked for a factory, and we manufactured brass items. So we were using a lot of different chemicals and different processes to treat or antique or to finish the type of brass items that we were manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're basically grandfathered in. Now we still had to keep up with code and all that kind of stuff. But if you wanted to build a factory and do what we did,
Mm-hmm.
not going to happen. They won't let you use those particular chemicals or those type of processes. For example, enamel pans. Like I'm big on cast iron, so I buy
Mm-hmm.
cast iron, or I have cast
Oh
iron
yeah.
cookware, like frying pans and different things. Some things are just better in a cast iron, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they also make an enamel coated cast iron pan. You know, it's easier to clean and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I believe at this point there may be one factory that is left, and everything else is done overseas. So Lodge ships all they manufacture all the products, they ship it all overseas so that they can put the enamel coating on the pans, and then they ship them back because there's nobody in
Because
the
of
United States that can do it because of the regulations for the
yeah.
processes that need to be done.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I
Chief Security.
understand that there's got to be some government control on some of that, and some of what was done, you know, in the early days, you know, was obviously wrong, just dumping the waste into rivers and stuff. And it's taken, you know, how many decades to get that stuff cleaned up. And some of it still isn't, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big lawsuit that's still ongoing with Wolverine, who's a boot and shoe manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
Been around
Yep.
for a long
Familiar with them.
time.
Yep.
And they dump so much crap in the process of treating the leather goods into the ground, you know, that people are getting cancer and different things. So they're going through and they're cleaning everything up, and they're putting water softeners and cleaners and all that kind of stuff into people's homes where the manufacturing was done. Plus, they were doing a lot of the leather work for seating and furniture, and in the area that I'm at was huge in manufacturing of furniture. So there was a lot of leather being used in. So those type of regulations, I understand, I get it, but just to flat out rubber stamp, no, you can't do that because it's not good. I think it's wrong. So
Yeah. Yeah. We had there's a DuPont chemical plant up in Florence, you know, up on the Tennessee River, and you know, they were caught, you know, dumping, you know, chemicals into the Tennessee River, and you know, the Huntsville area, they pull their water from the Tennessee River. You know, all the major, you know, cities and towns, they pull their water from the Tennessee River, and Florence in that area, maybe a little bit further north. They're close to the source, so they were pulling that water, and then they had to. I believe, if I recall, they spent a couple $1 million to get a reverse osmosis system uh, quickly installed, so they can, you know, have a better method of filtering the water. You know, get all those
yep,
PFA or PTAs or whatever out of the water, and they went and sued, you know, DuPont. Hey, you got to reimburse us for the water treatment plant, this new, you know, this super expensive reverse osmosis, and then, you know, they wanted, you know, damage and all that jazz. And the DuPont fought them forever over that, because they were like, well, you know, this happened, you know, a long time ago, and it's not, you know, what's it, statute of limitation kind of thing. And but eventually, you know, the county and the city and all, you know, and all those involved, you know, they won. They took it to court, and so DuPont's got to shell out and help and also clean up the river too and things like that. So yeah, I mean, you know, I would argue that I think, you know, companies, corporations, you know, like that, who are in heavy duty industries, I think they're more consciously aware of, they have to do their due diligence and their part, and it's, you know, it makes, you know, dollar sense for their company. It's good PR for them. And then, and then of course, I think, we should all be good stewards of the earth. But yeah.
Let's see. We've got an interesting comment here. We're using monopoly money. The other value of the dollar is people accept this form of payment. Otherwise, short term from now, the real value, none, will be exposed. I don't know if I completely agree with that. I do understand the devaluation of the dollar, at least the buying power. But I don't think the U.S. dollar will ever go to zero. If it does, I mean, they're gonna reset everything anyway when they go to the CBDC formula. At least, in my opinion, they're gonna reset stuff. Now, how does all this tie back to precious metals and silver and gold that we like to buy and collect? What's the correlation, in your opinion?
With respect to the the reset?
Just gold and silver with everything we've been talking about as far as manufacturing and all that kind of stuff.
Something that really perplexed me. Here's your word of the day, perplexed. Everybody's got to use it in a sentence today. You hear a lot of, there's always been talk, especially with the big whales in our community, they read these new coin news articles or whatever, that says, manufacturing, they're going to increase the usage of gold and silver for solar panels and stuff like that. I think the reality is they already have the materials they need because they bought it way back then when it was super cheap, and I'm saying that relatively speaking. So they got all their materials and supplies sitting on the shelf, so they don't need to buy anything. Why the gold and silver is inflated, I think there's other factors, but I can't really speak to it because I just don't have. It's just a feeling, not an educated opinion. But the thing, I guess when it comes to industry, I don't think they're making that big of an impact on spot prices or inventory because they already got what they need. And I think also you have to consider too, gold and silver is not used as much as everybody thinks.
Well,
even though silver and gold have excellent, like I'm going to speak from electrical because that's what I do. Yeah, they have excellent, conductivity, resistivity, and that's another thing. That's another little side thing I want to work on. It has something to do with our P&B pros. The amount they use, for example, like in a solar panel, is not as much as you think because there's a lot of what's the word? I want to say alloys. There's another word for it, but it's like Dennis. I don't know if you're still in here. Help me out with the chemistry part. It's like calcium arsenic or something like that. I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I keep referring to that because that is used in like high power electronics, and that is more conducive for high power electronics than say gold and silver, believe it or not, because they can handle the current load better because it's a alloy. I mean, yeah, gold and silver is going to handle it, but the thing is, when you run high current through those, they're going to heat up really quick. And that could be, and heat is, especially when it comes to electricity and stuff, your biggest problem is heat because everything, it has resistance to it. So when you apply current through it, it's going to fail over time because of a heat fracture or heat stress, I should say. Let me back up real quick. I don't know if you're still here, Dennis or Donald. Thank you for thanks for joining us. Have a good Sunday. There was a couple other people that popped in. Scott S. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. And of course, my man, by far the best looking, sexiest guy in the silver and gold stacking community, Mr. Polly Buck. You're the man. We have Papa York join us. Thank you for joining us this morning. Good morning. Thank you.
Yes,
for being here.
Okay. Do you want my take on it?
Yes, please. Oh, wait. I think Bandit had it.
Uh-oh.
Gallium arsen. Thank you. Yeah, I've been pronouncing that wrong for years, but
yes,
but thank you.
Yeah, stacking perpetrators, right? There is a lot of waste in government programs,
Mm-hmm.
and anybody that works with government or is tied to government programs, if they don't spend what they are budgeted or allotted, they lose that
Mm-hmm.
amount for the following year.
That's
So
BS.
everybody that has any type of government contract, they don't care, especially when it comes time, right, like this time of year for the last quarter, because
Yep.
the Fed fiscal
Yep.
year starts October 1, I believe.
Yep. Yes.
They
Exactly.
just
Yes.
start spending money like crazy, and working on projects to use up whatever. But back to my question that I posed to you, here's my take on that. Manufacturing and companies that are publicly traded obviously affect the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
The stock market rises and falls based on lots of different things, but essentially, if the company is profitable, the stock does well, investors invest, so the stocks go up, stock market goes up, and there is a correlation between the stock market and the gold and silver spot price. In most cases, normally when the stock market rises, precious metals tend to go down because people are investing in a strong economy or strong manufacturing sectors or service industries, whichever.
Yeah.
Tech, doesn't matter what it is. So they put their money where they think they're going to get the best investment or return. So I think if we bring more manufacturing jobs back, I think that's actually going to, in the long run, strengthen the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's going to create more jobs. In most cases, not in all, but in most cases, which put more people to work.
Yep.
Which we're, like I said, we're already at low unemployment's what, at 4% or 3.9%,
Yeah. That's
low.
what's amazing. We have inflation. We have interest rates up, and and cost of living up, but the job numbers are down, which is a good thing, obviously.
Right. So
That's why a lot of this stuff is crazy. Spots where it is, and
exactly. So
it doesn't follow the trend in the historical numbers. It's
correct.
like everything's opposite.
Right now, it's
I mean,
weird.
correct me if I'm wrong.
It's for example, like I said, normally when the stock market is strong in a bull run, right now,
Hmm.
they don't know if they've come out of the bear market or not. We've had some sessions that we've regained a certain percentage back of what was lost. And then, of course, there's different indicators. It's got to be for so long at a certain percentage to say that, yes, we're out of the bear market and we're into a bull market again. And normally, when it's going up and we're in a bull market, silver prices and gold
Hmm.
prices tend to go down. And it's normally inverse. So if the stock market goes up, silver and gold goes up. That has not been the case, right,
Yeah.
for
Right.
the last six
Right.
months or so. It's been really
Yeah.
weird. Last week was a good example. Both gold, silver, and the stock market all gained,
Yeah.
which is odd. Now
Yeah. They
I'm
gain
not a
as interest
financial
rate lifts.
expert, and I don't know all the details behind it. I know just enough to be dangerously stupid. Um,
Me
but
too.
there's something called a bear. I can't remember the terminology, but there's a specific term when the stock market does what it's been doing for the last week, where it's up like 13% or 14%, something like that. It's a false bear. It's a false bull market. So people are putting money in thinking that we're out of the bear market. And there's been many instances where we'll see a uptick for a week or two like this at a certain percentage, and then it just will tank again because people are jumping in, they're buying, and they're buying short or they're buying long. They're playing the
Mhm.
markets, and with more
Yeah.
people day trading and different things, you know. Now silver and gold, it still baffles me. with the way everything tanked, and with silver and gold doing the same thing. Just odd. I have to do a little bit more research. I really don't know why that is.
It's just weird.
Papa York, it's my belief the markets are driven by greed, sadly a dominant human trait. The markets have always been driven by greed. Really. Unfortunately, you go all the way back to the original Wall Street movie, right? With Gecko, greed is good. Well, you want to turn the primary purpose of a corporation is to make a profit. It's not to provide jobs. It's not to do any of that stuff. Primary purpose
Capitalism,
is to
free enterprise.
make a profit and to give shareholders a return on their investment. People that invest in the company. That's their number one goal, is to make a profit. If they don't make a profit and you're losing money, then you go out of business. So, but the results of putting out a good product and turning a profit normally results in more jobs, better paying jobs. So it's kind of a weird cycle.
And some kind of tack on what you were saying about bringing American industry, bringing industry back to the states, by expanding industry, having more industry here, you'll create more jobs and everything, right? Well, guess what a side effect of that is? More tax revenue for the government. More people are working. That means they're going to be paying more income tax. So if wherever these factories and businesses are, wherever they're going to be around, guess what? They're going to be able to charge sales tax. And if you're buying gas to get in your car to go to work, well, it's the trickle effect.
Yep.
And
so
why would
Good morning, sir.
Government not promote more industry and more business in the United States, because they're only going to make the coffers bigger for them, so they can spend on frivolous crap.
They do, but like I think it was Stacking Perpetrator said, they make it so hard with the regulations and the licensing and all that kind of stuff for different things. They just try to find, if you have an old automobile or something that still has chrome on it, go try to find a place that can chrome stuff. Seriously, good luck.
No,
Other than a small pop shop or a small place that can do onesie twosie things, but as far as a large manufacturing place that can actually chrome or electrostatic something to manufacture something, they're out there, but they're few and far between. But good luck. I know chrome specifically.
Or nickel plating, and the reason I know that is I had my grandfather's service revolver when he was a sheriff. I have it, and I went and got it restored, and to get it because it was nickel plated. Oh my god! I spent a lot of money.
Anything plated, like I said, the company I worked for, we could do all that stuff. But since they closed, a lot. What would that mean? More quality controlled or U.S. Mint? Do I go down?
Well, they obviously need it. I think we all agree. They definitely need it. Yeah.
I think that they're approaching. I think, in my opinion, again, well, that's what we are, an opinion show. I think the U.S. Mint, with the new Mint director, I think that they've tried to address some issues that have been, I think, successful. I think increasing the enrollment programs is going to lessen the burden of everybody and their brother on the website, and the website crashing, and they're not able to order what they want. You got plenty of notice. If you like American Silver Eagles, obviously this year enrollments are filled up, but last I checked, you could still sign up for next year, and then you just stay on the program. Same thing with proof sets, your American Innovation Dollars, the new Morgan series. If that's going on enrollment, it's telling me that's going to be an annual release. So I think that they're addressing some of that. Now, whether some of that was being worked on behind the scenes with the previous Mint director, I don't know. but I know that the background of the new mint director has absolutely zero experience in manufacturing, quality control, or running any type of organization that she's in charge of. Her primary background, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, is human resources. So whether that relates into better customer experience, I don't know. I don't know how all that fits. I'm at a loss. I don't know how she's going to do that other than they got to get the right people in there. But there's definitely a quality control issue that's been going on for a long time, especially when you're paying a premium. And we've talked about this.
Yeah.
You know, the quality control issues that's coming up now and that's being surfaced on not just your quarters and different things, but you're paying $160 for 2.5 ounces of metal, so you're paying a huge premium, and it's thinning and it's chipped and the capsules aren't on right, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. And we look at other mints around the world that offer premium products. I don't think the Perth mint has that kind of issue, do they?
Or the New Zealand mint.
Or the New Zealand mint?
Yeah, I mean, perfect example. You know, I'm a big fan of them for,
yeah.
You know, but look at, you know, hell, I could pull a proof. Like, I think I still got one of the Bad Batch guys here. You look, those proofs, you know, those proofs that, you know, they make, good Lord. And like, I think I've said this before, if you go out and look for like graded New Zealand mint, you know, Star Wars, for example, if you go, you know, on eBay and look for them, you hardly find like a 69. I mean, they're there, but you predominantly see 70s.
Yep.
And the New Zealand mint is just on the ball. And, you know, and yeah, that's right, Gunny. Okay, this mint's in New Zealand, right? On the other side of the world. You know, Gunny and I, we go, you know, when something drops, you know, we're there, we buy it. And whoosh, once 2 days, you know, for what, 48 hours, I can tell you, 48 hours from when they get the order and it hits when they process it, from when you get that shipping note, it takes about 2 days for it to leave the mint as soon as they finish your order and process it. 2 days from New Zealand to Huntsville, Alabama. 2 days, and that's free shipping when you book. You know,
yeah, and coming from somebody with a lot of manufacturing experience. You cannot manufacture or you cannot quality control an item at the last process of the manufacturing. And in the last step in the manufacturing process, if that's where you're doing your quality control, you have an issue. Quality control starts from the design of the product. Can we make it? Can we make it efficiently? Can we make it so we're not introducing certain things that can cause a quality issue? And then there needs to be stopgap at each stage of the manufacturing process where checks are done.
Yep.
And the quality control process should start from concept to each stage. And the final one is you got your final inspection, obviously. And then you got to backtrack. Okay, where did it go down? Was it all the way back to the striking process? Is it because of the die? Was the die not made properly? Were the specs not done properly for the die to be made? Quality control starts from concept. It does not start when it comes off the line and it's going in a box to be shipped to the customer.
Nope.
All that was changed 40 years ago when they went into Q1 and all that kind of stuff at Ford and in the automotive industry. It actually started over in Asia and Japan with the ISO stuff in Europe, where they introduced processes and policies that address all these issues.
Yep.
And you've got to start. And the mint, I don't know if they have the proper policies and procedures in place from the time the designer makes that coin to, is this something realistically that we can do? How often are they doing quality control checks on those dies? obviously they're not doing a good job, because look at all the errors that are coming out when they're striking these coins. And they've always had that issue, right? Going all the way back to the turn of the century, the 1900s, with all the varieties and the Morgans were die cracks because the dies were breaking down. They got to have so many strikes, and they should be checking that stuff and looking at it. And if they start to see a cut or a die break, then obviously they know that they got to pull that tool and replace it.
Yep.
If they want high quality stuff. Now,
Yep.
the conspiracy theorist in me says, well, they do that so that people can find them. I don't buy that at all. I don't think that they want to put out a bad product. I think that they've got a bad policy and procedures set up within the U.S. Mint. And I don't think this current director has any normally human resources. And it's the front of the house, or the front of the house. Back of the house is the manufacturing people, the people that are making product. I have no idea what's the goings on at the Mint, but they obviously need an overhaul, because this is ridiculous.
It is.
Even going back with the Morgans and in the packaging, that's inexcusable. I mean, that's the last process in the step, and they couldn't even get that right. If you can't even put a coin in a capsule and ship it out, right?
Yeah.
You've got bigger issues than putting coin in a capsule, right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah. I mean,
rant.
Yeah.
So.
No, you're right. And the reason I'm shaking, for the folks, if you don't know, I work in the defense industry, but when we're building a product for the military, the government requires all the defense contractors to be ISO compliant to have, Six Sigma and
yep, you got to have all that stuff.
You got to have all those quality assurance, best practice systems in place to make sure the government wants the quality product that works right the first time out the door.
And the stuff is coming off the line. You're pulling it and you're putting in a go no go quality control check. Yep. Okay. This
go
is
no go.
Yep. And then you pull it off. You send it online. You pull another one, and that's a continuous process. You're constantly pulling and checking at each stage of the manufacturing process.
Yes.
And they need to start doing something like that at the Mint. And maybe they do. I don't know. I don't know. I understand business strikes. They're just cranking that stuff out, and they don't care.
No.
But for premium product, when you're paying spot price is $20 an ounce, and you're buying 2 ounces, there's $40 worth of silver in there, plus all your manufacturing costs. So their cost is probably $100, $120 with packaging and all that stuff, and you're paying $160. That's a huge premium that you're paying, huge. And they. Yeah. It's not that I don't think they don't care. I just don't think their processes are there. That's
no, they don't. No,
the whole thing.
Yeah,
and
I totally agree with
you. Mentioned in the chat, it's many industries that are like that. They just want to get product out on the shelf, and they accept a certain amount of defects and returns, and a lot of that is built in. From the materials end, I always had to factor that in. We knew we were going to have a certain percentage of scrap rate based on pre-production runs. So we got a brand new part that you're going to make, right? And they start running it, and they start troubleshooting it, and come to find out the best we can do, we're still going to have 20% of the parts that we make are garbage. Now, that's not acceptable, but let's say it is. So I've got to order 20% more product and schedule the timing to manufacture that product with a 20% scrap rate.
Yep.
Which is absolutely horrendous.
If not higher, especially if you have a first-time vendor.
Right. But you don't, unless you start doing pre-production planning and processes, which is all part of your ISO certification. You've got to know precisely what processes and policies, procedures, and then work instructions. They're I don't want to probably bore people with that, but it's very specific. When I'm running,
It
if I'm
is.
going to make this pencil, there are certain processes to turn this wood, make sure the lead's right, make sure this little metal thing's on and the eraser's in. And each one of those steps, the overall goal when for the product is a pencil that works. Okay, so what's it take? Well, you got to back it all down, and it all goes back to material. I've got to get the right type of wood. I've got to have the right type of process to get the lead. I got to get and all that stuff ties in. So
It does.
I got to order 20 more of each of one of these items because 1 out of 5 of these we got to throw away.
Yep.
Point is, you can't inspect quality into a product. You've got to design and manufacture the product with quality at the forefront. You can't do it at the end.
And I know for a fact the Mint is not ISO compliant. They don't follow any of those industry rules and regulations and policies and procedures. It doesn't exist. If it did, it'd be on the website. You know, our minting, facilities are ISO, or there's other industry standards out there for quality assurance and product.
Yeah, there's different types depending on.
Yeah, there's different ones out there, but they don't list any of them. Now, whether or not a government entity can be ISO compliant, for example, I don't know the legality or whatever, how that, whether or not it's applicable or not. They should. That's the bottom line. If they were following like ISO stuff, it would fix most of the issues we all have, these last couple of years. Well, I say couple of years because I've only started this stuff recently. But anyway, else, and for the folks in the chat real quick,
because I know that Coin Crew is going to get started, but I do want to.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
I got ISO, blah, 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 blah. Let's see if you can have all the written procedures. What if the worker's having a bad day and they just don't care? Then what? Well, that's where the director comes in. Now you get human resources involved because obviously they are not following the work instructions that are given to them, which means they are not performing their job tasks as assigned. So that is up to their supervisor and manager to pull that person out and address the situation. That's my take on it.
Yep.
So
well, that's how my industry. Same thing. That's what's kind of cool about me and Mr. Gen X is that even though the product industry that we work in are different, the process is the same, whether it's an automobile or a missile defense system. The process is the same.
The process is basically the same. So I know we're running late, and I babbled way too much on your show, and I apologize again.
No, I enjoyed it. It's always a great education for me.
So
and I hope the folks in the chat enjoyed it.
I want to thank everybody. Mr. V Rose, by the way, popped in. Who was their staffer?
Hey,
in. I'm sure that there were others that we missed while I was on a soapbox for quite a bit of this show.
And you're the one that said, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah, I'm the one that's going, I don't know what to talk about today.
Yeah,
so, anyway, we got Coin Crew coming up in 2 minutes, so I would request that we go over and give them a DoN raid. So Sunday fun day for them. And the DoN posted the link. So I want to thank everybody. Thanks for having me on the show. And my show is on tonight at 8:00. Who knows? We may carry this over because there's a lot to talk about that we can dig even deeper if you're interested. So with that, have a great day, everybody. 73.
I'm going to put the link to Gen X channel in here. So, I think we're going to try to pick up where we left off because this is a lot of interesting stuff. So, thanks for being here. Thanks to our moderators. Great show. Thank you, Gen X Collectibles, for being here. So, please, let's head over to Coin Crew. They're supposed to do their 5K celebration announcement and tell them the DoN sent you. So, have a great Sunday, everybody. And hopefully, we'll see you tonight on Gen X channel.